So I've actually been up and gathered this up. This has pretty much been sat in the field where, I'm going to call it the ragwort field, but you know which one I mean. One of hay fields. It's been sat in corner all year because, well, I couldn't bother dragging it back. Plus there's one fundamental problem with this rake, is that she's got a mind of her own, properly a mind of her own. I took it up last year with the 698 actually, and I nearly stuck it into the neighbour's fence. Granted, the road is pretty much the width of the back wheels, and then the verge is like 2 or 3 foot wide, and well, I nearly wiped him out. So after that I pretty much chickened out bringing it back. Also a mate of mine borrowed it from village as well, and he brought it back and then said never again. In fact, he's bought himself a single rotor. So what I want to do, one of two things. What I want to do is try and sort it. Now, there is basically the steering on this is like a ball socket up here that sits in this area. So when the steering turns right, it pushes that lever across, which then pushes a rod that runs down there. Or should I say turns a rod, which then wangles these left to right, which then tie into the tops of basically the wheel itself. There's an arm that goes down and then through a shaft turns the wheels. Now these all feel pretty solid. There's no movement in them that I can find. I mean, they are just pretty much solid. So I don't think it's that. The shaft through the middle, I don't think there's anything holding that. I don't think there's any bearings. I do actually have the breakdown of this somewhere, but it's on an old iPad. I don't think I can get to it. I don't know. So the only bit I think it could be is this, and there is a bit of a gap between the box and that because it's steel and steel, as I can find. So hopefully, roll pin out, I've got the bearing pullers, so I might be able to just pull it off and have a look, and we'll see. If it is that, then great. I might just buy the part and be done with it, because the rest of this rake is really quite good. You'll have seen me rebuild that rotor on the far side twice, but she runs really smooth and really nicely. She is a bit big, mind, for what I need, but yeah, it is what it is. But the second thing I could do is basically drill a hole straight through somewhere there and basically pin it, undo all this linkage, and it can just flap around, but the wheels just look solid. The other thing is you've got to make sure it's straight when I do that, because if they're kicked off one side, I'm going to be towing out all over the place. But as you can see, it's not even sat square on back at tractor. Granted, I did reverse it up, but so yeah, that's about it really. Took an extra couple of arms off because we've got some really low trees, so they can go back on. This thing's got some really nice little touches like these, where to put the spare arms that you've taken off, and use the same pin holds that end. There's a lug there that the tang goes in. So yeah, year of this I have no idea. Somebody out there will probably tell me. It's probably late 90s, I'd have thought. So I'd still been in school at that point. I'm not as old as you think I am. Well, depends. But yeah, I've not seen a plate with a year on it. Oh, it might be one now actually. But I can't work it out. And it's 2 ton, 2,000 kilos. I don't know. If I write it down, if I find it, I'll write it at the bottom of this video. So yeah, we'll get on with trying to knock that off. Right, we're starting to get somewhere anyway. So I've actually got the ball and basically the cup off, if I can do it one-handed, from what was in there. Now, that on the shaft's quite tight. The shaft that runs through that hole was tight on there, so I'm not worried about that. What I did do is put that back up into there, which is just the ball, and there's probably 5mm play in it, which I didn't think was too bad because it seems pretty round, it doesn't seem to have a flat spot on it. So fairly happy with that. And then thought, I wonder if it's headstock. So just obviously change it up, but I don't know how well you'll see that. But it's kind of, it's moving probably about an inch, 3/4 of an inch down that end, right across the top. So I'm guessing that's probably where it is. Because pretty much when you steer, it takes a long time for the back end to catch up. I did put the forklift down that end and turn that with the bar. Obviously the wheels were off the ground at that end. That pretty much turned the same time as that, so it's not that end, which is kind of good. Just that end. So no idea what's under the. I don't know if it's a casting, a bushing, or what that's in there. I'll have to try and find out. But at the moment, I'm probably not going to deal with that. But I think that's probably the answer. If anybody else thinks any different, I'd be appreciative of it. But that's as far as I can find out. Right, let's put it back together. Right, first start for 23, so let's see if I put it in gear, it'll help. Nice. And knock in, bang in. Oh, that's what I mean, she's really sweet running. Right, I'm just going to fart around with my little play areas down here and see what we've actually got. So hold on. Right, so we've done a bit of rowing up. Ta-da! I think that's done too badly. Some nice swaths. So, yeah, they're about 3-4 foot wide. No, I've not taken it right down to the bottom, because I've said before there's a lot of rubbish in the bottom of this grass. You still see bits of it there, so hopefully it's not dragged in too much of it. It's not really ready for baling, but I couldn't resist rowing it up. I planning to run through it hay bob again, but it's pulled some bits up that's still out dry. But to be fair, if I really wanted to, I could get round baler out and bale that. Usually bales out in the field, sweat off. But to be fair, if I do put hay bob back on, it's a lot easier to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines, 8, 9 lines than it is doing a whole field like I've just done, or a whole patch like I've just done. So yeah, grand job, that'll do. I'll park her up in the field down here somewhere and well, I'll grease her up next time, to be fair. I haven't greased her yet. But since she only did, well, she lapped that field last year and the one up the lane, so there'll be about 20 acres. So a couple of hours work and an 8-hour shift, so